So do you know who is Taylor Swift?
Of course lah, who doesn't know Taylor Swift?
Recently, there's a big news that came out on Singapore, which is Singapore is Taylor Swift only stop in Asia. Hello, you are now listening to the Nasi Lemak Podcast. I am Shang Huan.
I'm Cynthia.
That is not our topic today. We are not going to talk about Singapore have a Taylor Swift concert or so on. So we are not going to talk about that. Basically, recently I came across this Reddit post. Is Singapore that much better than Malaysia? And there is a few comments or even shared by Malaysian that draw my attention. Okay, so let me share you the first one. So this not too sure whether it's gentlemen or ladies. Ex-Malaysian converted to Singaporean. Singapore has better government stability in terms of politics, and also he think that Singapore culture is better than Malaysia. What do you think?
I think we can all agree about the government stability thing. All Malaysians know, so I won't
Yes.
expand that. Regarding for Singapore culture, right? Did he mention like which particular culture?
He or she mentioned that as in like I decided that Singapore culture will be better suit my kids' future. It doesn't really mention which culture, but I would say for kids' future probably is education.
It's because of Singapore, individually, it's a quite modernized country that is being well reckoned by the whole world. I mean, let's say if you go out and say, "Oh, I'm Singaporean," so maybe we're like, "Oh, Singapore." This
Okay.
kind of
Yes,
concept.
probably. Okay, let me share one real life case that I personally experienced. So when I was in London, I was taking the underground metro, and there is a British lady sitting next to me. So this British lady, very nice auntie, like I think in her 60. She actually turned to me and asked like, "Oh, hi gentlemen, like where are you from?" And I say I'm from Malaysia. You guess what is the first response?
Where is Malaysia?
If let's say she mentioned where is Malaysia, I mean I will still be
Is there a
happily
country that is called Malaysia
no. I will be still happily to explain to her where is Malaysia.
besides Singapore?
Yes.
I mean,
Okay, so
quite common.
that is the first words they can. Oh yeah, there's a country next to Singapore. Or like, yes, we are a neighbor to Singapore. Do you want to guess as in like what is the continuous phrase that came out from these ladies?
How big is Malaysia?
Okay. The first response that is the lady is actually oh yeah, the country next to Singapore. Yeah, I was like, yes, we are neighbor to Singapore. And the next thing is that you got the flight that went missing. So I was like, yes, that is like quite a big news. So that is
It's not Malaysian. It's known for, is it?
so that is the impression of Malaysia, our country. Like I don't know, like probably this lady consume a lot of international news. All right. Okay, so let's move to the next one. Is like as a Malaysian who just moved to Singapore and working in Singapore, you really have to see it to believe it. By day 3, I already fell in love with this place and told myself no matter what, I must continue to stay in Singapore. Heck, I dare to say even the food is actually quite good here.
Fake Malaysian. Fake Malaysian.
By day 3, you fell in love in Singapore. Okay, and also you think that the food is better than
Fake Malaysian. Keep.
I have no comment on this.
Maybe this fake Malaysian, he or she stay in the wrong area of Malaysia.
I guess so. Okay. All right. So move to the next one. This also draw my attention. Okay. So just moved to Singapore for work 1 week ago. Okay. Public transport is very cheap and efficient, and always on time and rarely late. Also, is a very walkable, unlike in KL. I think public transport is very
Approve.
cheap and efficient.
Efficient, I approve.
Yeah.
Cheap, I'm not very sure because I went to Singapore the last time when I went was quite a few years ago. But efficient, on time, this one I approve.
Okay. So what about a walkable, unlike in KL?
Approve as well.
Okay.
way, 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 way better than KL. And that is when I went to Singapore when I was like from 2. So
Oh,
there's like
okay.
so many years ago, I already think that the public transport in Singapore is actually very good, better than KL.
Okay. Walkable unlike KL. Yes. KL, I mean Kuala Lumpur or Selangor, we definitely do not have like walking friendly environment. Yeah. But recently we see a lot of improvement. So we hope there will be more improvement coming up in KL or even in our country, Malaysia. This gentleman or lady also mentioned that as for expensive, the rental here is crazy. However, eating out very cheap compared to Malaysia. Wow. Okay. You can find chicken rice for 3.5 Singapore dollar or 2.5 Singapore dollar economy rice. Wow.
I mean, consider quite cheap lah.
Yeah. Well.
3.5 for chicken rice, Singapore dollar, and 2.5 economy rice. But if you convert to
Ringgit,
very
dollar to dollar.
expensive.
Oh, that is very expensive. So eating out very cheap. Wow. Okay. Interesting.
Okay lah, maybe the post above that mentioned like food is better than Malaysia. Maybe he thought
The price
the
wise.
price wise is
okay.
okay, and then approve.
This gentleman or ladies also mentioned the life here is also very fast paced. People walk way faster and even the escalator in MRT station are set to way faster speed.
Oh, this one is true.
Okay.
Last time when I went to Singapore with my grandma, right? Our culture here for escalator wise, we won't tend to lean towards the left side. For Singapore, they already have this mindset in mind that is being, like here. Whenever you went up to the escalators, right, you have to stand at the left side. You cannot stand at the right side unless you need to cut queue. So the right side is forever clear. I know, I know Malaysia here, sometimes we see this kind of situation, but for sometimes you can still see people like standing on the right lane. But for Singapore, it's totally the right lane is clear unless you are seeing people walking up. So that time when I went to Singapore with my grandmother, right, so she doesn't have this kind of like mindset. So when she went up to the escalator, right, she goes toward the right side. Then I have to pull her back to the left side because like the moment when she stand on the right side, right, people already behind like oi oi oi, like they want to walk fast already. But my grandmother is like standing on the right side, so I have to like pull her to the left side.
Okay. Okay, so let's continue this. Is that overall, like what others said, good place to earn money and save up. Okay. Then come back to Malaysia and live a relaxed life with a sweet conversion rate.
Approve.
Approve? I mean, it sounds sarcastic to me. Okay. Why I pull out this one, right, is that I'm not too sure whether this person is actually Singaporean or Malaysia. I think Malaysia have better bak kut teh than Singapore.
Yes, approve.
100% approve. Malaysia bak kut teh is way better. This is the longest one. And I think this gentleman or lady actually have a better explanation. Okay. So a Malaysian, Singapore PR, based in Singapore, and he or she think that Singapore is better in many ways, but not for everyone. So the first point is that you need to be pretty disciplined and resilient to actually enjoy Singapore. Okay, so let's see what does he or she mean. So he say that like infrastructure, amenities, public transport, stations, government service is the best that he or she experience as compared to Sydney, Hong Kong, Tokyo. Everything is just so efficient and well thought out. What do you think? As in like infrastructure, amenities, public transport, government service. I think I kind of agree on government service because like we Malaysian a bit chill, relax.
You know.
We all know. Okay, so and the quality of service is so good.
So good. It's not so good. It's so good.
Yes, it's so good. Okay, the next one is like the cleanliness. In terms of cleanliness, Singapore win. Like what he or she mentioned that despite the large crowds everywhere, public parks, toilets, roads are always in pristine condition and well maintained. People are civic minded and they care for their country. You don't litter or vandalize for sports. I rarely see potholes or broken traffic lights here, which is a norm in many locations around KL. Good.
I'm not sure. Maybe.
Okay. So what do you think? People in Singapore have civic mind that they care about. They care for their country.
No, when we go to Singapore, right? People will be like, "Hey, careful, yeah, your tissue, be better. Don't suddenly let the wind blow until on the floor. You have to quickly pick it up. Later got fine.
Yeah, I think their government have found a better solution to make everyone a civic minded.
But then, fun fact is, during this Chinese New Year, right, I had a friend who is working in Singapore, and she
Okay.
came back during Chinese New Year. So she told me that, actually, right, Singapore is not that clean. You will see some spot that's also like rubbish around. And I'm
Yes.
like, oh, interesting.
Okay, sorry, probably it just my eyewitness to be truth. Like people don't litter. Last year I went to Singapore for a very quick visit. It's just a 1 day visit. And when I was in Marina Bay Sand, right, I saw I think this gentleman, I wasn't too sure whether it's local or not. So after he finished the Red Bull, right, he just crashed it and
Throw it.
throw into
The bushes, is it?
the bushes.
Ah.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like this one I'm stuck because basically that's what I witnessed. And hopefully I'm wrong. Okay. Okay. So rarely see potholes. Haha. You got it? You got it? You got it. Okay. So next, in terms of economy, stronger and a clear MNC favorites. 70% of our regional APAC roles are based in Singapore due to its favorable economic policies and availability for strong talent. The government is just smart. Okay. This has been government smart lah. Okay. Attracting foreign investment, diversifications of business. Naturally, there's more opportunities and you will make more money in Singapore. Cannot deny something that we cannot deny.
Ringgit now, cannot deny.
Even do you know that Grab founder is actually from Malaysia?
Yeah, I know.
And he also is a Penang Lang.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I know it's from Malaysia, but I'm not sure it's from. Hey, it seems like Penang also have a lot of talent,
So, for your information, Grab moved their HQ to Singapore.
Oh.
All about winning. I don't know what they mean. Not saying we don't see this pool of people in Malaysia, maybe more so in Klang Valley. Singaporeans are built with a cannot lose mental kiasu. Okay. Restaurants are booked in advance. The best schools are oversubscribed.
They don't wait to do their taxes.
Kids are enrolled in 20 types of enrichment classes. Everyone has multiple insurance policy. In short, you snooze, you lose. Again, naturally, you are less likely to fuck up, in life and will be better poised for success if you grow up here. So it's good to raise your kids here. Susah dahulu, senang kemudian. I'm pretty sure you are Malaysian.
He already mentioned he's a Malaysian, right?
Yes, I mean,
the first day.
Probably you can fake but then I'm pretty sure you are Malaysian. Okay, so Singapore kiasu, I think.
I thought it's like a I know everyone.
Yes. I'm not too sure whether you heard this. My grandmother used to told me this. Singaporean kiasu, Malaysia lang kiasi. Means that we scared of die. Singapore kiasu, like they don't even afraid of die.
But they're scared of losing.
Yes. Well, probably. Okay. Best school are oversubscribed. I think it's also happened in Malaysia because some of the young parents tend to put their kids to the best school or even to get into the so-called
talent class.
Yeah.
I think this is not about Malaysia or Singapore. It's everywhere.
Yes,
it happens everywhere it's happened everywhere in the country.
Yeah, it's Asian mentality, I guess. Okay, next is safety. Somehow related to point above. Lesser crimes in Singapore people are built to know it's stupid to risk your future in prison for petty crimes. You don't feel unsafe walking in Singapore. So since you've been there before, right? So what do you think?
I didn't.
Lesser crimes in Singapore?
Not to say I've been there, what I think about the crimes there, but I do watch YouTube that talks about crime, and there's a few cases in Singapore as well. So it's a bit hard for me to say whether Singapore has lesser crimes or not. But I think crimes happen in everywhere.
Yeah. very hard to justify whether this is better. I mean, Singapore is better in terms of safety. Uh, maybe yes, maybe no. We don't know. Okay, so let's continue. This gentleman or lady actually said like, we are comfortable in Singapore, but it's not for everyone. I kind of agree with this because back in my secondary time, right, I would say 7 out of 10 classmates of mine, right, they actually went to Singapore after SPM. And some of them also, like, once they completed their university, they also went to work in Singapore. And 7 out of 10, all these like 7 out of 10 classmates, out of seven, there's three of them will actually say like, wow, Singapore is way better than Malaysia. Hey, like you have this in Malaysia. This is the common things that I heard. And there's always four of them, right? You will say, oh, I feel Malaysia better. I want to come back to Malaysia. I think he's right. It's not for everyone because of like especially in terms of the lifestyle, in terms of the pace of the life in the country or even in the city. So I think this lady or a gentleman also, like, if you are used to prefer a more chillax lifestyle, a bigger home, Malaysia fares better in many ways. There's simply less pressure to perform. It's okay not to send kids to extra classes. It's okay to complete that task late. It's okay to forget dinner reservation sometimes. I'm not too sure whether are you complimenting Malaysia or you are trying to
But in Malaysia,
yeah. I grew up so this person also mentioned I grew up in KL, and I must say parts of KL, Damansara, Monkara, Desapa City, parts of PJ and Subang Jaya are starting to mirror Singapore, especially among the millennials, Gen Y, that are in their late 20s to mid 30s. Private everything, overtime work, intense competition, stronger emphasis on health, safety, and education, so Malaysian can somewhat experience a mini Singapore life in a way. What do you think?
true also lah. Because I came from Penang mah. Penang is much more chillax, but in KL, I must say I agree with what this person mentioned lah. It's a bit mirroring Singapore, but I would say only 10% of Singapore.
Uh, so which means that people in KL, PJ is getting kiasu. Okay. So I like the last phrase. Like, and I quote one of the comments above. People are warmer in Malaysia as there is less focus on success, but more so on relationship and culture building.
Building.
People are more oblivious to what others or the government are doing. Not sure that if that's good or bad. So
Lot,
people are warmer in Malaysia.
I think a lot of people like what this person mentioned, people warmer in Malaysia, because like he gave a good reason, like we tend to focus more on relationships and
Yep.
culture building instead
Yep.
of like focusing on success. Like what he mentioned earlier is like he said that Singapore kiasu. So by being kiasu is you tend to be more success than
Yep.
the others. So you will have this like kind of comparison or competition.
Yeah. Okay, this is an interesting post that I found on Reddit, and we are here to share with you what we think. Whether, like, is Singapore that much better than Malaysia? Probably all the Taylor Swift fans in Malaysia will say, yeah, Singapore is better because basically Taylor Swift only performed there. What do you think? Is Singapore that much better than Malaysia? If you are a Malaysian that based in Singapore, or even you are Malaysian, feel free to share with us in the comment area. We love to hear your stories. Thank you for listening to the Nasi Lemak Podcast.